I'm good.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for reaching out. It was such a great email, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so
Oh,
excited.
of course. I'm so happy that my blog has been doing as well as it has. I love listening to new artists and just finding new people to highlight. There's so much talent around here. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
All right, let's get started. All right, so just to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are as an artist, just for other people to know and get to know you better.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm Alex. I am a retro pop artist based in Nashville. So I thought I was pop R&B for like a really long time, and then I found this Spotify playlist that was like retro pop, and I was like, I think that's more my speed. So I liken my sound to more of like Lake Street Dive and like Leon Bridges and kind of those kinds of artists. But I do take inspiration from literally everything. Like I was raised on like classic rock, and but I also love like pop, and so it's a whole mishmash. But yeah, those are kind of my musical styles. Like I love Fleetwood Mac, I love Adele, I love like Whitney Houston and Mariah and like, all the big voices, but I also love like the Eagles and I love like Panic at the
Yes.
Disco. So like I said, just a huge old mishmash.
Yes.
Um but yeah, so that's a little bit about like my musical styles, and I'm really passionate about two things. One
Okay.
obviously being music, and the second one is mental health. I'm such an advocate for mental health because I think music and mental health kind of play a role with each other. Um, but yeah, that's just a little bit about me and myself as an artist. So
I love that. I haven't heard anybody like just say out loud like I'm really a big advocate for mental health, and honestly, I love that. I think there needs to be more and more talk about it. I'm actually in a class this semester called Social and Emotional Intelligence and another one called Wellness and Mental Health, and I'm learning so much, and I'm just like, oh.
with Christy Gilbert, right?
Yes, with Christy.
Yeah, I took that class last semester, changed my life. I am obsessed with her. She's
I know.
incredible.
I'm like, I love you so much. Like, I just
Yeah,
want to be your friend.
she's an incredible person.
I know. She is a wonderful woman. Um, okay, so now that we've kind of got a little bit about your genre, how about you? Like, how did you get started in music? Would have you been singing since you were really young, doing music? Do you come from a musical family? Or was it just like one day you just woke up and you're like, I'm going to be a singer?
Yeah, so I don't really come from a musical family. I think the closest would be like my grandfather used to sing at weddings, but it was like family weddings, and it wasn't even really singing. It's like in like my culture and my tradition, it's like
Yes.
singing. It's like a call and response. But my grandfather used to do it when he was alive, and he was like the best at it. So I guess that's kind of like the closest I have to a
Right.
musical family. But yeah, I've been singing like my whole life. I know everyone says that, like I've been singing since I was like, but my first ever solo was when I was in, I think, kindergarten or first grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I remember I was like going back through some old like stuff that my mom had kept, and like there was this book from when I was like 5 from like kindergarten, and it said, "My name is Alex and I want to be a rock star."
Um,
Um which is crazy. And I was like, okay, cool. So I knew what I wanted to do even back then.
right.
Um but yeah, so I've always had this like love and passion for music, and then it kind of went away as I got a little bit older. Like I still love to sing, but I took it a little less seriously. I played sports a lot. Like I played soccer growing up, so that kind of took a lot of my time. And then in
Right.
high school, I did you say same?
No, I said right. Yeah. I
Oh,
understand.
you said same. I was like, what sport did you play?
I really wasn't into sports, but I
Yeah.
did a bunch of other things. I mean, given when I was growing up, my parents tried to like force me into sports and we tried everything, but like I did not stick with any of it. And then eventually I was just like, I'm moving on. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I totally get that. I tried so many, and soccer just stuck. So I played soccer, competitive soccer, for about 13 years.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, very long time.
Yeah,
And
nice.
my sophomore year of high school, I quit, and I was like, Mom, I want to do show choir. Like, I
Yeah.
want to do show choir. And it was really weird too, kind of how like everything has played out so far, because my plan when I was in high school was so I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, which is about 3 hours south of Nashville. And in Birmingham, there's a school called Samford University, which is like Belmont's like sister school. They're very similar. They're very small in class size, like just small in general, like liberal arts, Christian, like they're very similar. And so I was going to go there, and I was going to play soccer, and I was going to be a lawyer. And so very different,
Yes.
very different. And I quit soccer my sophomore year of high school, because I don't even know how it came up, but one of my friends was like, you should audition for show choir. And I was like, okay. And so I did. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I love this. Like, this is all I want to do. And I've taken piano my whole life. So like I always had some kind of music, but
Right.
when I quit soccer, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to focus all of this into what I love, into what I'm super passionate about. So
Yeah, for sure. That sounds a lot like my own personal experience, honestly. I mean, the only sport that I ever actually enjoyed and stuck with was volleyball. And so I played that through like middle school and into high school. And I was going to try out for the high school team. And then I ultimately just gave that up and was like, I'm going to focus on music.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I mean, I love learning about people's history with music, because some people, it's so different. They're just like, oh, like I'll give it a try, and then they end up loving it. But the same thing I find is that like once everybody gets bit with that bug, it's just like that's all you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I think like a part of me always kind of knew that like I loved music and like it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger part of me was like, okay, but I don't even know how to like do that. I don't even know how to get there. Like I didn't know any of the mechanics of all of it and any of like the background stuff of all of it. Because you know, when you're a kid, you're like, I want to be famous. I want to be a star. And it's like when you grow up, you're like, okay, cool. But there's also more things I want to do with it than just that. So
how do I get there?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Oh, same.
Okay, so you said you took class with Christy. So you do go to Belmont, or you went?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm a senior, so
okay,
I graduated.
So we were in the same class, and I just never knew.
Yeah. No, it's Belmont is so weird because it feels so small, and then you meet someone
small,
and you're like,
but then there's also just a ton of people that I know I have not met yet.
Yeah, but it's like, but yes, I am a senior. We graduate in like a month, which is so scary, exciting, but also scary.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Same.
We'll be here though. So are you a music business major or songwriting or
commercial voice?
Commercial voice. Okay.
Yeah, which is probably why we haven't crossed paths, because most of my classes were on the older side of campus. So.
Yep. So you'd have to take all the music classes and.
Yeah. Are you music business?
Yes. So yes, awesome. I've taken all the technical classes and.
Yeah.
Accounting. Hated that class.
Oh, accounting, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Will I need to use it? Probably not. Did I have to take it?
Yes.
No, shout out to my professor. Love you, just not the class. If anybody sees this. Okay. So I know that like to get the feature request, you filled out a form on my blog. I briefly scanned it, but it's been a second. So remind me, do you have any music released yet, like on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, or?
Yeah, so I just released my debut single March 5th. It's called How Do You Know? It's on all streaming platforms. It's so weird to say that I have a song out, because it's wild. And like, honestly, people's like reactions to it and like the kind words that I've received are just like, they're so like, because you know, it's scary to like put out something that you care about and something that you've worked on, and like you always have that voice in the back of your head that's like, well, this isn't good enough, this isn't going to do well. And like, but all of the people that have like reached out to me and have been like, okay, this is like, it's real, and like that's all I ever want to do is like make music that's like authentic and vulnerable and real. And like,
yes,
you know, because I'm so passionate about like mental health, it's just like I just want people to know that they're not alone, because like we all feel like we're so alone when we're not. We're all going through variations of the same thing.
Yes,
it's at different intensities and different levels. And
Right.
I don't know. I think it's so important to like let people know that nobody knows what they're doing.
Nope. And I'm really glad that I finally came to the realization that like no one really knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
It's kind of like fake it till you make it.
absolutely.
Even my
Absolutely.
parents are like, yeah, you just never really find out what you're doing. You just kind of keep going on in life, not knowing what you're doing.
No, absolutely. And that's what the song is about. It's like I said, it's called How Do You Know? And I wrote it in like September or something.
Okay.
And I was just like, I could not figure out how people were like achieving their goals and like how they were doing all of their things. Cause I'm a very like type A person. I'm like, okay, I need this step and then this step and then it's this step and then it's this step. And then with
Yes.
like music and like the music industry, it's not like that. It's never, and my voice teacher and my mom have kind of like likened it to like, okay, if you go to law school, you graduate, you pass the bar, you're a lawyer. Like you
Yep.
find a job at a law firm, you're a lawyer. You go to music school or you go to school for like the entertainment industry. Yeah, you graduate with a degree, but that doesn't mean you're going to be the thing that you went to school for.
Yes.
And so it's just kind of about like, how do people know what to do? And because like you feel like you're the only one. You're like, okay, I'm the only one sitting here, like having no idea what I'm doing with my life, like about to graduate,
Yep.
trying to find a job, trying to find something to pay the bills, like everything. And then you see all these people being like, I got signed, or like my single got on Fresh Finds on Spotify or New Music Friday, and you're like, how?
Literally that, and also like just TikTok with everyone blowing up on TikTok for their songs. Like
I know.
10 different people that I personally know have like blown up on Spotify. One of the features I did was Lauren Weintraub,
Yeah.
that I knew from freshman year, and her song went viral on TikTok, literally had like millions of views. It has over 1 million streams now on Spotify, and I'm just like, what is happening?
And,
What is happening?
and the thing about TikTok too is that it's so crazy because it's so like you can have one video hit 100 views and then the next video hit 1 million views, and it makes no sense. Like
No.
there's this girl that I know, and I was like on her TikTok one day, and she literally all of her videos were like 300 views, 200 views, 50 views, and then what she posted one and she had 300,000 views,
Oh
and
my
I was
God.
like, see how
No idea. Like,
crazy.
I definitely feel that. One of like most of my videos, like very small, like 10 likes maybe. And then
Yeah.
one day I did the trend of like the green screen picture in the background,
Yeah.
when it looks scary.
Yeah.
I put myself in a picture with Justin Bieber. It was Justin Bieber,
As you should.
and Haley was like giving him a kiss on the cheek, so I just did the exact same thing in Haley's spot. And it got like over 1,000 likes, and I'm like,
As you should. As you should.
I mean, of course, that would be the thing that like went semi.
Right. That's the thing, is the ones that you work so hard on get like 20 views, and then the ones that you're like, oh, I'm just gonna film this because I think it's gonna be funny and no one's gonna see it, are the ones that like
I'm like, cool, that's fine. No worries.
Yeah. It's like, cool, yeah, whatever.
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, sure. I'll just be on the Justin Bieber TikTok side. That's fine.
Oh yeah. I'm on the Harry Styles TikTok side.
I'm also on that side.
Been there. And sometimes I'll like get off of it and I'll be like, okay, how do I get back on?
Yeah. You just gotta start liking videos of like Harry Styles.
Absolutely.
Okay. So kind of going back to your music career and your aspirations and what you want to do, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, or where do you want to be?
Good question. So a little bit of backstory. When I was younger, I feel like everybody when they're younger, like they're like, oh, I want to be famous, and like I want to do this, and like my biggest dream when I was a kid, when it came to music, and by kid I mean like up till I was like 15 or 16, was I wanted to win a Grammy. That was like my ultimate dream. I was like, that's the peak of your career. Like that's not the peak, but like that's a height of your career, like whatever. And as I've grown up and as I've like gone to Belmont and like been immersed in the music industry and had internships and things like that, that kind of viewpoint has definitely shifted. I think where I want to be in 5 to 10 years, where I hope to be in 5 to 10 years, is touring And that's my biggest dream now. I just want to go on a world tour. I want to see the world. I want to play shows every night. Like, I want to
Yes.
connect with people. I want to hear their stories. But yeah, I think that's my biggest goal, because at the end of the day, like at the end of all of it, like, music is the reason why I still do it. And like, I want to be the artist that so many artists were for me.
Yes.
And I think people that, not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think people slash musicians that their basis is fame and fortune and riches, like, I don't think that gives them the longevity that they need to succeed in this kind of business.
Right.
And again, like I said, not that it's wrong, not that I think I'm better than anybody else. I don't.
Yeah.
But I just think personally, in my opinion, you have to have some kind of substance behind it, because I mean, I'm sure you know, like, this industry
Yes.
will literally kick you while you're down, will tell you
Oh,
no a
yeah.
million times, but then we'll turn around and tell somebody who maybe doesn't write as good of songs as you do, or maybe looks different than you do, like, they'll tell them yes, and they'll, shoot them up into the stars, and you're
Yeah.
kind of sitting there like, well, what do I do now? And you know I think that's really important to me too. So, long-winded answer to your question, but I hope to be on
No, I
tour
enjoy it.
and
Yeah.
making music. So,
I mean, this industry really is probably the hardest one, and it's just a game. They
yeah.
roll the dice and play.
Mhm.
I know I like go back and forth with the music industry just because there's so many things to love about it, and there's also just things to hate about it because like kind of like how you were just saying, like you see people that probably aren't the most talented, and making it big because it's not necessarily about their talent of
Right.
singing and songwriting, it's their marketability as a brand, like
And yes, and I also think what a lot of people don't understand, and what I didn't understand coming into the industry, is that a lot of times that you have these huge musicians or celebrities or people that you're like, wow, like, yeah, like, they're talented, they're good, but it's like,
yeah,
you always wonder, and I think it goes back to too, like, how did they get there? A lot of people have connections. Like, a lot of people's like dads are like movie producers, or someone in their family that they're really close to, like, and that's something I didn't understand when I was younger. I was like, how are all of these people just like doing all this and like being in front of the right people at the right times, like all this kind of stuff? And it's like, they have people that they know. It's all about who you know, which, when you're someone that that moves to Nashville from, say, like, Birmingham, I don't know anybody. Like, I didn't know anybody in the music industry. I
right,
just a year ago, I just found out that like a distant cousin of mine works in the music industry. Like,
really,
yeah, and that's like the only, but not the only person that I had like a at the time. I was like, that's so crazy. Like, I didn't even
right,
know that. But a lot of people, like, you don't know anybody, and it's so
yeah,
hard to, like, it's kind of hard sometimes to network, especially because of COVID now.
yeah, for sure.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm like even super thankful for this blog. I've just
Mhm.
gotten the opportunity to meet and talk to so many people, and like, because I mean, being an artist and songwriter myself, like I know what it feels like to just like want to put yourself out there and have a voice, and I definitely like want to have that platform to like give people the opportunity to share their art and share their passion for music. Because
I think that's incredible too. And also, like, the fact that like you're a woman and like you're focusing not all on women, but like a lot on women, because there are so few. I'm sorry, they're mowing the grass out right outside my window. I didn't
it
know.
happens.
The lawn people come like 4 times a month, and I'm like, there's not that much grass. Like, there's really not. I promise. Okay, let me shut my window. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
So sorry about that.
No worries.
They come so often, and I'm like, how can you have that much grass to cut? Like, how? I live in like a little complex, and
Yeah.
like each like little like place has like just a little patch of grass, and they come so often. And one time they came at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and they were right outside my window, and I literally woke up and I was like,
Absolutely not.
are you kidding me? I was like, it is 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Oh. Anyway, sorry about that.
Absolutely cracks me up. I feel like we're literally the same person, and I love
Oh my gosh.
it. You understand me.
Oh. But anyway, what I was saying, I feel like it's so sad to me that there's not as many women prevalent in the music industry as there is men. Because
Yeah.
again, when I was a kid, I thought that was different because all the artists, not all, most of the artists I looked up to were female, were
Right.
women. They, you know, they went on tour and they sang and like they did all this stuff, and then you kind of grow up, you learn more, and you're like, wait,
Yep.
there's way more men than there is women, and
Oh yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't to get it. I think it needs to change. I think it is changing.
Yes.
And I think we need to keep having the conversation of there needs to be more women in the room.
100%. And there are some really dark sides of the music industry that I have heard about, and it's just, I mean, it sucks the way that women are treated in today's society, and like there's just got to be change. And I know that we're in the midst of that right now in this time period, but I'm just hoping for the better in the future.
I agree, and I think it is coming. I think it's hard because the way my mom kind of describes it is like we'll have conversations about like my grandparents or like because we have some differing beliefs and stuff, and my mom's like, well, that's what they know, and like that's how it's always been, and I always come back with a rebuttal of like, yes, that might be how it's always been, but that doesn't mean that's how it has to be.
Right.
And I think just because something has always been that way, that's not an excuse to
doesn't mean that's how it should be.
Right. And it's not an excuse to take it and be like, well, that's how it's always been, so I mean,
well, so guess what?
It sucks. I guess we're screwed. Like, no, it's like, okay, well, this is how it's always been. Cool, great, awesome. How can we learn from that, grow from that, change that?
Yes.
So that's not the excuse that people use, and that's not the norm that people use. But yeah, because I think for like, I'm sure you feel it too. Like as a woman, it's frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Like it's extremely frustrating to be in a room. Like even sometimes I'll be like in a room with somebody or like at an audition or something, and there's a guy standing next to me and there's 20 girls, there's like 5 guys and there's like 20 girls.
Yeah.
And the guy is more likely to get it over the girl just because he's a guy.
Yep.
And I don't
I know.
I don't agree with that.
There's a lot going on, but I mean, I have faith, and I feel like our generation is definitely going to be that generation that turns things around.
Yes, I do agree.
Be proactive as a generation, and we're like learning and realizing all the problems with the world, and we're like,
right. And I think too, like, it's important to note that like I think our generation is going to fix a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always still going to be ways that we can improve and like the world can improve, and especially when it comes to like gender equality. Like I don't know about you, but I do not want to be a housewife. I do not want to stay at home with the kids while the husband works. Like that's, and if other people want to do that, that's fine.
I would say power to you, but
right, queen, live your life. I'm not here to judge anybody.
No.
However, for me, that's like worst nightmare.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna have my own career and I'm gonna work, and kids go to school, daycare, whatever. But we're not worrying about that for like 10 years.
Oh gosh, no. I
was gonna get in 10 years.
Trying to just take it day by day.
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it. Okay, so aside from that, when you aren't working on music, what do you like to do in your free time?
I love to work out. I am a part of a kickboxing gym. It's so interesting too. I won a free year membership there. I know, crazy. I entered it on Instagram because one of my really good friends goes there and she like loves it. But I entered their giveaway on Instagram and I won. And I was like, me? Me? So
I've never won anything on Instagram.
I haven't either. That's why I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, we'll just see what happens. And then they like tagged me, like, congratulations to our winner. And I was like,
oh, me.
I definitely think though it was like a God thing because this year has been like really tough for me personally. and it's nice to just go and kick something that won't punch and kick me back. That'll just let
Yes.
me, get all my frustrations out. So I really enjoy working out. I did CrossFit in high school for a little bit. Yeah, I love makeup and shopping, even though I have no money, but I'm really interested in sustainable shopping. I try to thrift and buy things from like thrifting websites and go to like Buffalo Exchange and places like that. Obviously I'm not perfect because sometimes you're like, oh wait, that's really cute, even though it's like
Yeah.
kind of fast fashion. But
Yes.
I try really hard to like buy sustainable fashion. Like
Mhm.
if I do buy something from like a fast fashion website, I try to buy it at like a secondhand store.
Mhm.
Or just like steal clothes from my mom and my brother and my dad. But yeah, I love
I love that.
makeup, I love working out. I love writing songs, like because you write like little snippets of songs, or you're like sit down to write a song, you're like, okay, this song sucks, and so you like throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of hard to like have a bunch of free time right now, just because we're about to graduate and like I'm working and like I'm going to
I
like
absolutely have none.
yeah, and so I'm just trying to like be super proactive and like I have a paper due next week, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it this week so I don't wait until the last minute like I always do and like stress out and stare at my computer for 6 hours and then like cry. So, but yeah, that's just
That
a
reminds
couple
me, I should
things I like to do.
probably check my agenda. I'm sure. I know I have a paper due sometime soon. Have I started it? No. I don't even have a topic. No idea what it's due. We'll figure it out.
The only reason I have a topic is because we had to turn in our topics, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. So
The reason I didn't turn mine in because he made it optional.
the magic word.
Wrong.
The magic word. He said, if you wanna, and you were like, well, I don't.
Well, I
So.
don't, and I already have the time. So like,
Yeah.
later. Oh man, senior year struggle bus all aboard.
Oh man. Senior year, and then on top of COVID, it's just like
Oh my god, no, nobody talked to me.
I'm just because I was talking to somebody and I was like, I'm really sad because I'm like really excited for it to be over because it's not college, it's online class.
Yep.
Like it's me sitting and staring at my computer. It's not me going to class and like seeing my friends and like sitting in the beam-in and like eating lunch on the lawn. Like
Yeah.
it's I log in, I get off, I lay back in bed. Like it's
Honest. Yeah, literally. I only go in person to one class this semester, and it's literally just for the sole purpose of going. Because I'm like, it's my
Yeah.
semester. Like, I want to go. But
Yeah.
last semester, I was like, I'm not gonna commute. I'm just gonna sit online and sit in my bed. So that's exactly what I did.
Oh, yeah. And my therapist was like, she was like, are any of your classes in person? I was like, one of them is. Like I go in person to one, but I was like, another one is, but it's at 9 a.m. on or 9:45 a.m. on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I was like, and I don't. That's so I can't. If I don't have to get up and
No,
get dressed and drive, like I'm not going to.
absolutely not. I have a class at 9:20 Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You best bet I wake up at 9:15. Grab my
Actually,
laptop,
yes.
turn it on. What's up, everybody?
Like grab my glasses, like
Yeah, surprise, shot it.
yeah.
People probably watched me like definitely fall asleep in my class this morning. So
Lucky them, honestly.
I was like, oh my god, I can't keep my eyes open. SOS. Okay. Just a little bit of fun questions, get to know you a little bit better as a person, have some good old time.
Amazing.
One of my favorite ones to ask is, what is your zodiac sign, and do you think it accurately fits and describes you?
Okay, so I'm an Aries.
Okay.
And 1000%, I think my zodiac sign absolutely describes me. I didn't get into astrology until like freshman year, sophomore year, something like that of college, like really get into it. Absolutely. Aries, some characteristics of Aries are like we're fire signs, so we're really hot-headed. We're really loud. We're like probably gonna be one of the loudest ones in the room.
Yes.
Very energetic, but it's also like you put a brick wall in between you and everybody else, and like it's hard to be. And I was like reading like the description and like my rising moon and like my setting sun or like whatever, and I was like, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
I I definitely got way too involved in it in college. I'm like, oh my god, this is
Wait,
me.
what's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Ooh.
I feel like Leos get a bad rep, so people think I'm like arrogant and hot-headed or like self-centered. But I'm like I mean, the aspect of me liking to be like the center of attention, like yes, I feel that. Like I would love to like walk into a room and be like, hey, everybody, look at me.
Right, yeah.
Like I wouldn't say I'm self-centered usually. Like definitely
Yeah.
I care a lot for other people and typically put others before myself.
Yeah, I think too, like, I mean, astrology, yes, it's like defining characteristics, but not every single
No,
characteristic of a sign is like
no,
matches up with a person.
right.
Um,
You know, there's other
but yeah,
things that go into it, your upbringing,
yeah,
genetics, and all that.
absolutely.
So there's that. Fun. Okay. If you could trade places with anyone for a day, who would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh my god. I'm trying. Oh, um, so I actually know the answer to this question.
Okay.
There is a Broadway actress that I am obsessed with because
Ooh.
she's incredible. Well, she's Broadway and she does like film too. Her name is Cynthia Erivo. She's from the UK. She played Harriet in the Harriet Tubman movie and sings
Okay.
the main song for that film.
Mm-hmm.
But she played Celie in the revival of The Color Purple on Broadway in
Mm.
2016. And she is like the best vocalist I've ever heard in my entire life. Like
Wow.
she's like incredible. Like if she's one of those people where like if I met her, I would just be like I don't even know. I don't feel I literally would just be like
Yes.
so I think I would switch places with her just to be able to sing like she can.
Yeah.
Also I feel like she's a really good person.
Yes. That's
So
cool. I like that answer just because that's not like a conventional answer, not something I expected, and that's super cool. I honestly
yeah.
like I don't know her personally, but now I'm gonna go look her up. So
Yeah. She's like she's she won the Tony for Best Actress in a Leading Musical in I think
Ooh,
2016.
wow,
Um, yeah, she's ridiculous, like
that's so
ridiculous.
cool. I love that. Okay. Sometimes I think of random ones off the top of my head. If you could eat one thing every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Trader Joe's has these sunflower butter dark chocolate like cups. I'm allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to literally everything, but they're I literally am. They're like Reese's cups, but they're made with sunflower butter and
Oh,
they're vegan and like non-dairy. I'm not vegan, but I'm non-dairy
yeah.
and they have dark chocolate. They're so good. And if I could eat those all day, every day, I would probably get really sick, but I still probably would.
Love to hear it. I'm just always interested as to what people would eat. Sometimes it's like a snack, sometimes it's like a whole meal.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have that one thing to eat for the rest of your life. There it is.
Go off, queen.
Go off. You got it. All right. Before we wrap up, the last question I have for you is, do you have any words of advice for those pursuing a career in the music industry, whether it
Oh
be as a songwriter, an artist, just any sort of advice?
my gosh, I love this question. I Something I wish somebody had told me was it's so easy to get caught up and wrapped up in what everybody else is doing, and it's so easy, like we were saying, like it's so easy to look on TikTok and be like, oh my god, this person has
Yes.
250,000 followers and I have like I have 200 followers on TikTok and I'm like cool, and it's so easy to compare yourself and to
Oh, yeah.
compare, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not a good enough songwriter. But I think at the end of the day, good enough is so opinion is based solely in opinion, and
Mhm.
you can be this incredible vocalist and this incredible songwriter and somebody could just like not see it. And
Yep.
so I think my biggest piece of advice is just be yourself and don't compare yourself to anybody else, because we are all on our own paths and we're all different. And I know it's cheesy, but like if you are really in this for the right reasons and you really have this love and this passion and this drive behind you,
Yeah.
it will happen. Like, I'm such a firm believer that A, everything happens for a reason, and B, if you love something so much and you put consistent time and energy and effort, it will happen eventually. It might not be on
Yes.
the time you want it to be, but it's going to be on the time when it's supposed to happen. And so, yeah, I mean, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yes. It
And
is.
and it's so easy to do it. I've fallen victim to it. I still fall victim to it sometimes.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, just be yourself. Don't try to copy anybody else, because people will do that. If they see something
Yes.
that is working, they'll try and copy other people. And I mean, Billie Eilish, like, she was the first one to kind of do what she does. Like,
Oh yeah.
and now there's how many people, hopping on that bandwagon, and it's
Yeah.
like, so yeah, that was a very long-winded answer, but don't compare yourself. Be proud of who you are and work on who you are as a person and why you do it and why you love it. And yeah, just don't give up, because it's going to happen eventually, even though it gets frustrating and annoying and you feel like giving up.
Yes.
If it's what you love, you're never going to give up on it.
Amen to that.
So
I love that. Thank you so much for joining me. I enjoyed talking to you, and just because it was very different from the other interviews I've done, I love that we had a more serious conversation and just kept it flowing and talking about the needs of the music industry. Love it. Love it so much. Was happy to get to know you. I thank you so much for your time again. Your blog about all about you will come out tomorrow, and I will link to your music.
amazing.
So,
I can send you a link if you need me to.
yes, if you will send me a link and then also a picture of you would like to.
Beautiful. Yes, and I'm so sorry I didn't text you. I went home this weekend and it was
No worries,
crazy
girl.
weekend.
I
Crazy
totally
weekend. But
feel.
thank you so much for having me. It was really great talking with you.
You
Thank you for
too.
giving me a space to like share who I am and why I do it.
Yes, always welcome. For those of you who are going to be watching this on YouTube, I'm going to link to Alex's song below. Make sure you go stream it, follow her, and don't forget to subscribe to my blog and read all about her posts below. I will see you next time, and thank you again, Alex. I will talk to you soon.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.